All right. Welcome, and let's take a look at this one from my friends over at the Lackluster channel on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Check out all their videos without my commentary on it. This one is 3 lying cops sued after unlawful arrest update. Let's go ahead and get this update, see what the story is all about here, and see exactly how bad they messed up.
I get a stop on that GMC Suburban. It just left. Wanted to flip me off and threaten me to get off the property.
What'd you pull me over for?
For your threats that you made to one of our officers.
That's not a threat. What threat?
How about I'm gonna break your window?
Welcome back to the
Here we go.
Lackluster channel. Today we have news from an exclusive report that I investigated in September of 2022.
48, can you copy a VIN? I'll take my time.
For a brief recap, Josh Hall was leaving his home when Officer Malta of the Wright City Police Department noticed unregistered vehicles in his driveway. After a peaceful but unpleasant interaction, Josh left the scene, flipping Officer Malta off as he left. Officer Malta's hurt feelings caused him to lie over the radio, telling other officers in the area that Josh had threatened Malta.
48, can you copy a VIN? Okay. I'll take my time. Try and get a stop on that GMC Suburban. It just left. It's on Samwise now.
That's clear.
He wasn't a fan of me being here.
Is it his residence?
I believe so. He wanted to flip me off and threaten me to get off the property.
As a result of Officer Malta lying about his interaction with Josh, he was pulled over shortly after by Detective Beard.
Unwarranted.
Good.
This is already has all the markings of a major lawsuit for an abuse of power and blatantly lying. The last couple of videos we've watched on the channel have been officers lying. Chicago cops lying. The most recent one was I forgot what it was, but another cop was lying. Oh yeah, he actually arrested the wrong person who didn't even fit the description of what the person called in for the assistance. And when that old guy came out and the cop was like, "Is that the guy right there?" He's like, "No, that's not him." The cop still went and got this guy. It lied in Chattanooga. So a lying ass Chattanooga cop. Now here we are with these guys.
Got your driver's license?
What do you need my driver's license for? What'd you pull me over for?
What's that?
What'd you pull me over for?
For your threats that you made to one of our officers.
That's not a
Your
threat.
driver's
What
license,
threat?
proof of insurance,
What
sir.
threat did I make to an officer?
I need your driver's license, proof of insurance.
You need a reason to pull me over.
I just gave you that.
For what threat? I didn't make any threat to any officer.
Are you gonna get-
I haven't. No, I am not, because I did not break the law.
So you're not going to give me your driver's license and proof of insurance, is that correct?
For what? Flipping an officer off is not a crime.
A threat to an officer is, I'm not going to...
Flipping an officer off is not a crime. Flipping an officer off is not a crime. It's a constitutionally protected activity, right?
How about I'm going to break your window?
It's a constitutionally protected activity to flip an officer off.
That's fine. You can flip him off. You can't make threats to him.
I didn't make what threat?
This is
What
the
threat?
last
Right.
time I'm gonna break your
What
window
threat?
and arrest
Okay,
you.
first tell me what threat I made to him. What threat? What threat?
I'm gonna break your window.
What threat did I make to him? What threat did I make to him?
Driver's license. Get out.
I
of the
will.
car,
Here's
under
my
arrest.
thing.
Out of the car.
In Officer Malta's report, he claims that Detective Beard had asked what specific threats were made. Officer Malta wrote that Josh had displayed the middle finger to him, and that was all. The report does not indicate at what point of the incident. The clarification was made that there was not an actual threat, but rather a First Amendment protected gesture. The alleged clarification is also not present on any of the body cam footage, and was likely written to cover for the detective. But despite the so-called clarification, Josh was arrested and transported to the local police station, where he was cited with disorderly conduct, failure to comply, and resisting arrest. He was held for 5 hours.
Yo, these are probably the most abused charges that cops will ever run if they don't like you, if they just want to stick something to you, are those 3 right there. Those are like the holy grail of, I just want to fuck you over. You might have not done anything, but I just want to make your day miserable. Those 3 right there, bro, because anything can constitute a resist and whatever, even when they're dead wrong about their whole reason for the stop.
before he was released from his unlawful arrest. Officer Haney wrote in his report that Officer Malta informed him that Josh displayed the middle finger and used profanity. However, footage from the neighbor's video camera and the body cam does not show Officer Malta mention profanity, nor does it show Josh use it. And even if it did, and he did, it is still protected free speech and cannot be used to pull somebody over. Detective Beard wrote that Josh was verbally abusive towards the officers, including several lines of very colorful language that was never recorded on the body cam footage at the times indicated in the report. All 3 officers involved lied, either on scene or in their reports, to substantiate a false claim against Josh and to criminally cite him, further violating his civil rights. All for a finger. 1 week later, Josh went to the department to file a complaint and was asked to meet with the chief and Lieutenant Matthews.
Yeah, they were probably like trying to calm it down before this explodes into something. Guys, I keep saying this over and over in these videos. It speaks volumes that even with body cameras, that you have some officers, because I want to be clear, it's some. You still have some officers that don't give a shit and will still make up and lie when we see it in 4K. That's the problem with it. Even with body camera footage, they don't give a fuck, bro. They still be running crazy and then go to the report and make up an entirely different story that was never captured on video. And you're supposed to not turn off that video until you've completely like done and the person's in the jail, you know, something like that. Like, it's supposed to be running for a long period of time. So for them to be like, oh, he happened to say that just as I turned off my body cam, man, fuck out of here, bro. We're not stupid. You know what I'm saying? That's the scary part about all of this right now, is that they are so brazen to still make up stuff when we see it all on the body cam.
What we have here is a Sydney ordinance that has been on the books for some time that shows that the officers were acting in good faith in accordance with the city ordinance at the time.
Wanted to flip me off and threaten me to get off the property.
I believe this is in conflict with the First Amendment. Okay, but that is protected speech. All subsequent actions following the traffic stop, regardless if you are guilty of them or not, are not going to be enforced, because I do not believe that they had a constitutional right to stop you in the first place.
I've seen people get pounds of marijuana thrown out of court for unconstitutional stops.
So again, I understand that you're an argumentative individual. I am not.
I'm not an argumentative individual. I'm a very polite person. I have 7 kids.
So the reason why I wanted to reach out to you is that your point here of your ability to make obscene gestures toward police or protect under the First Amendment, as the police department, we agree with you. Hopefully now we can put this whole issue behind us.
That's what it is.
I have no reason to suggest the officers didn't act in good faith because that ordinance was on the books. That ordinance is going to be amended. In the event they did have a lawful contact with you, the subsequent actions of failing to comply, I would have allowed to stay.
Yeah, I know. Okay. I know. If you had a reason to pull me over, I know. I have ID and stuff. I know my rights.
Sure.
A few months after the incident, Detective Beard was fired from the Wright City Police Department. But it's
wow. I think that might have been the only time I've heard of one of these cops actually getting fired and not like quitting, leaving, or just getting reassigned or being temporarily suspension and they go back on the job. Wow, he must have really messed up.
It's not for what you might think. The fired officer is now suing the government along with the police chief and Timothy Matthews for alleged harassment and wrongful termination. The lawsuit alleges that Detective Beard was the subject of unprofessional and disparaging remarks by the chief, and that a review of Beard's professional performance was full of misleading and outright false statements, and that his firing violated state laws protecting public employees. The lawsuit alleges that Chief Canavan and one or more unidentified officers would text back and forth about Beard being fat and how he's going to get fired.
I mean, he probably is a fat piece of shit. So, I mean, listen, it says a lot if your coworkers at the police department are talking shit about you. He was the guy that no one liked. 100%. They didn't like him.
Then, in September, the mayor and aldermen ordered that the police department conduct an internal investigation of the incident I covered, after Lieutenant Matthews allegedly issued a report stating that Beard was the only officer who violated department policy during the incident. 1 month later, the chief and Lieutenant Matthews delivered a termination letter to Beard and took possession of his department-issued vehicle. Beard then filed a wrongful termination lawsuit alleging retaliation for disclosing misconduct and intentional infliction of emotional distress. Josh also filed a lawsuit against the city, Detective Beard, Colin Haney, and Officer Malta for unreasonable seizure, abuse of process, free speech, assault, battery, malicious prosecution, and a Manel claim against the city for negligent hiring, failure to supervise, and for a custom of conducting unreasonable seizures.
Bro, I didn't even know you can do these things. He went like tier 3 on him and negligent hiring. I didn't even know that was a thing.
And use of excessive force.
Yeah, true.
So what I will say
I also know my 1st, my 4th, my 8th was violated. I know my rights were violated.
Okay. So what is it that you would like to have happen moving forward?
I don't really know yet. Like, I haven't really come across that bridge.
It's not us versus you. It's us serving you.
Yeah,
that's the whole point.
That's what it's supposed to be. But then the dude called my lawyer, my landlord.
In October of 2023, a settlement offer was discussed, and the mayor was approved to sign in place of the board. The city settled with Josh for $100,000. Josh recently emailed me. He plans to open a pet store with the settlement and asks me to tell you to not be afraid to stand up to tyranny. After all, for most of us, rebellion is in our DNA, and a settlement offer usually means the defendants don't admit fault and likely still believe they didn't do anything wrong. That theory can be shored up by the scapegoat firing of Detective Beard.
Wait a minute. I just realized, y'all. Bro got an extendo. Why does the cop have an extendo in the I just realized that. What? Why has he got an extendo?
Scapegoat firing of Detective Beard, who did make the arrest, but Officer Malta was the one that lied, abusing his power to effect a false arrest in retaliation against Josh's free speech. Only weak men would be so triggered by a hand gesture. There is still no word as to whether the department carried out any disciplinary measures against Officer Malta, but for now, it appears that this is the conclusion of the story. So keep an eye out for my community page, where I often post news that doesn't make it to video. Hopefully, in the future, I'll be able to share Josh's success when he finally opens his shop.
Hey, that's a big dub. Congrats to Josh, man. He got his goddamn money. Actually, from the taxpayers. It's not even like he got it from the city. You know, it's taxpayer money. You know, we know what it is. And he's opened up a shop. So if y'all out there in Missouri, go show him some love when he opens up his pet shop and all that stuff. But clearly, and you know, the whole fact that the chief invited the guy over to talk to him, he was trying to prevent this from even happening. But then it happened, right? The lawsuits come out. Now there's this weird love triangle of lawsuits where the guy that got fired, Fat Beard Cop, is now suing the city for wrongful termination and all that stuff. Just he's salty, bro. And you know, the thing about it is he got fired and he probably went down to the next county over or the next city over in the state, or maybe relocated out of state to get another job as a cop, bro, because there's no federal registry that keeps track of when cops are out of pocket. And they should be locked out from being a cop once they mess up. It shouldn't be able to just jump from city to city and be a cop in a different place. And then you're trying to hide the dirt you did in the previous city. You know what I'm saying? Wrongful arrest, excessive force, or whatever the case may be. What's up, Clayton? So Officer Malta runs free and emotional. Yeah, right. He out here just living his best life. He's just happy that dude got the other fat guy. Maybe this was all coordinated. Check out my conspiracy theory right here. Malta knowingly dispatched the call to the Fat Beard Cop, telling him what he said to set him up for this. Oh my God, I just cracked it. That's what it was. He wanted to get the Fat Beard Cop fired, so he lied to him and said, yeah, he threatened me, knowing he really didn't, and he knew that cop was going to be hot-headed and do everything that he did. Oh, yeah. Yo, Malta